Our verses for this week are Matthew 25:37-40, which say, "Then the righteous will answer him, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?' The king will reply, 'Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.'" Now, this is Jesus speaking. He's telling a parable like he likes to do to help illustrate a point. And in this parable, the king is Jesus, and he's returned with his angels and is judging all of the people. And he separates all the good people and the bad people to the right and to the left, respectively. And he says, back in verse 34, "Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me.'" So this is what the righteous people are answering in our verses from before. "When did we see you hungry, thirsty, or a stranger?" And Jesus' response, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." This is so powerful and yet so fundamental to our walk with God. It comes back to something that I feel like we talk about so often in these videos, but clearly it's a message that bears repeating. What are we doing for those around us? How are we showing the love of God through our actions? Are we feeding, clothing, and inviting the strangers around us to better know Jesus? And I don't mean this in a Hebrews 13:12 kind of a way. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. This is a very old world way of thinking, and you see lots of examples of this in mythologies throughout time, where you have to be nice to strangers because one of them might be a god in disguise, and if you refuse, they'll curse you or something. And I think this leads us down a path of helping for fear of retribution and not helping others in order to show God's love for them. And I think this is what Jesus is trying to illustrate in this parable, is that we should be showing the love of God to those around us, not just to the people that we know, because that's easy, but to the people we don't know as well. Kind of a simple message this week, but one that's very important. Have a great week.